Hi fans of high quality entertainment. So today's video idea is I've gone through my CD collection and I've put together artists that had a really strong 3-album run anywhere in their discography. And by the way, I'm not including every artist I have. Paul McCartney isn't in this list. He would definitely be included in the top, but his McCartney and Ram, their box sets, and I'd rather just do the CDs that I have here. And so I've got a lot of them to show, and I've made a top 10 out of the ones, out of all of these. So the ones that didn't make the top 10 but are still, like I said, a great run of 3 albums in a row include the Kinks with the Village Green Preservation Society, followed by Arthur, or the Decline and Fall of the British Empire, and then Lola versus Power Man and the Money Go Round, Part 1. We're still waiting for Part 2. So that's a pretty good run, but it didn't make my top 10. Now this would make a lot of people's top 10, and maybe not in this, maybe some of the earlier albums or later ones, but Pink Floyd had a lot of great albums in a row. So I chose their run of The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals, which I'm starting to really like a lot. Took me a few years, but it didn't make my top 10. How about Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, Freak Out, followed by Absolutely Free and We're Only in It for the Money. Another really strong, and this is, from their debut album and their second and third albums. A very strong, for quite a few albums actually. How about Queen with their debut album, and then Queen 2, and Sheer Heart Attack. Didn't make my top 10. Another really strong 3-album run, Creedence Clearwater Revival with Green River, and then Willie and the Poor Boys, and Cosmo's Factory. But it didn't make my top 10. This one, it's just that there's so many great albums, and they're not all going to squeeze into my, my own personal top 10. But how about, and with David Bowie, you could pick, different decades of really strong 3-album runs. But I went with The Man Who Sold the World, Hunky Dory, and Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The Beach Boys. I'm so sorry, Nicholas Pearl. They didn't make my top 10, even though Pet Sounds is included. So Pet Sounds, and then Smiley Smile, and this is like a compilation, but Wild Honey, which is on this album. The only setback to Wild Honey and Smiley Smile is the albums are so short. They're like short. Now this band put out 3 great albums in a row, and 2 of them were doubles. Tommy by The Who, Who's Next, and then Quadrophenia. What's that? No, it didn't make my top 10. Another great run. Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself. Go ahead, look at yourself. All I see is my camera. Uriah Heep, Salisbury, and Demons and Wizards. A very good run of albums there. And the last one before I get into my top 10. How about Procol Harum? Shine On Brightly. A Salty Dog. And Home. Love this album. And now for the top 10. So, and like I said, all of these are just so good. They could all almost be number one. The Moody Blues had a really strong, all of their 60s albums, even into the 70s, they had a great run of fantastic albums. And I have chosen In Search of the Lost Chord, On the Threshold of a Dream, and To Our Children's Children's Children as number 10 on my ranking. Number 9. And this is, I'm just starting to, I always knew his first album, and the second and third I'm just starting to really get into, but I love them. And so they are Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? Access, Bold as Love, and the double album, Electric Ladyland. Pretty good run of albums there. Number 8, how about Talking Heads? I'll go with, even though, Talking Heads 77 is a great album, but I thought I would start with more songs about buildings and food, then Fear of Music, and Remain in Light. Rank number 7, this is going to kill me. Yeah, I've definitely become a much bigger fan of George Harrison. So what I've got here is All Things Must Pass. And then I feel this is as strong as All Things Must Pass. Living in the Material World. And I've really started to like this album a lot. So Dark Horse. It's not as strong as these two, of course, but still, I really do like this a lot. It's underrated. So that's number 7. Number 6. Ooh. How about Yes? The Yes album. And then Fragile. And Close to the Edge. Number 5 for me. Blue Oyster Cult, their debut, and then Tyranny and Mutation, and Secret Treaties. Number 4, you gotta have some Black Sabbath on this list. Black Sabbath, their debut. I don't think too many Black Sabbath fans would complain with their first 3 albums, and then Paranoid, and of course Master of Reality. But I could even go with Black Sabbath 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Sabotage. I could. Number 3, Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, and Led Zeppelin 3. Not a bad run of albums. Number 2 for me, and like I said, it's not including every artist in my collection, or definitely Paul McCartney would be in the top 10. But I've got here Sparks, Kimono My House, Propaganda, and Indiscreet. I wonder what number 1 would be. Of all my CDs, what is the strongest 3-album run? Well, I have chosen a band called The Beatles, with Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and The Beatles' White Album, which is a double. I bet you didn't know that. And that is it. So this is going out to my members. Today's the 30th of December. So the public will see this on the 31st, of course. So just wishing everybody a happy new year. This will be my last video for 2025. Thanks for watching my videos throughout the year. And, commenting and liking the videos. And I really do appreciate it. And consider becoming a member. I've got 11 so far.